Hello and welcome to the chat room on CGTN. I'm Zoyun. The chat room is a special online live show which invites people from different backgrounds and countries to share their thoughts and opinions on a certain topic. But today, we're going to try something a little bit different because today we're going to have a debate which is more like an informal debate. And the topic will be, does artificial intelligence make life better or more distressing? And we'll have 4 debaters in total, 2 for each side, 2 for the affirmative side and 2 for the opposition side. But before I introduce to you our 4 very smart and very talented debaters, I want to introduce you our special guest for today is our special observer debate, Ding Yang. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hi, thank you for joining us. So you'll be sharing some of your insights, your observations, as well as your, opinions of the performances of the debaters, as well as on this topic, right?
Well, I'll try to say something smart, but as far as my intelligence goes, that's not going to happen very, very often.
I believe it's going to go far away. Please be seated. I thought that you actually read a really thick book before you came here about AI.
Yeah, thick as a brick, yes.
Did you get so many meaningful ideas from that?
Well, ideas, yes. I like to be challenged on those ideas.
Oh, you like to be challenged?
Well,
okay,
sometimes.
Okay, points remembered. That's, I think, what I'm going to do today for the rest of the show. Let's just welcome our 4 debaters. So first of all, Kate.
Hello, my name is Kate. I'm from Peking University. And fun fact about me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate, for joining us again. Actually, Kate has been here before. She's a really, really amazing debater.
If I can say this, I've watched the show a couple of times and a big fan of you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's so fake. She was just here once. Oh,
He was just rewatching because I'm so cool.
Ah, okay, that's a good one.
I can be a reply from time to time.
Okay, so next one, Nicholas.
Hi, my name is Nico. I came to China to teach case analysis, and since then I've worked as an editor and done voice recording. I like to read business books for fun to make up for the fact that I'm kind of an idiot. And although I am interested in marketing, I am a bit of a technology laggard. I don't really like automatic transmissions or home voice assistants or push button starts. So we'll see how we feel about AI today.
Okay, so we'll see. Cool. He looks very sophisticated, just like you and Kate.
Well, just before I made any ill-judged comment or commentary, so how many times have you been on the show? I like to say something polite and nice.
Polite?
You just made a mistake.
Well, no. I've never been on the show before, but thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming. It is his very first time. So.
I'm relaxed.
Okay, so yeah, he has never watched your performance. Yeah, don't believe anything that what he said, right?
I'm ballerina.
I watched it, Kate, don't worry.
Oh, thank you so much.
Me too. I watched it so many times. Okay, so next one, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Yunling.
Hello everyone, I'm Yun Li and I'm a sophomore studying in Peking University School of International Studies. I love drawing, painting and traveling and all the colorful things. Thank you.
Wow, welcome Yunling. She likes all the colorful things. That's why she's wearing something so bright today.
Yeah.
So you like traveling, painting?
Drawing, yes.
Yeah, lots of stuff. But today you'll be loving debating, hopefully.
Yeah, I love debate.
Okay, good girl.
So have
And
a
assuming
great
that you're on the
time.
side of supporting AI, so would you like the idea that AI one day pays for you? Maybe save it later.
That's a really hard
Okay,
question.
okay.
It's really
Save it
hard
later.
for her to start
I
with.
promise I will ask the same harsh and difficult question to you. too.
Okay.
Okay, I remember that. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, let's welcome Jim.
Hi, my name is Jim Fields. I'm the founder of Relay Video, a company that makes promotional videos for many AI companies here in China. And today, we're going to be representing AI, and I thought the best way to represent AI would be to dress up as a robot. So I'll be taking on the role of Robbie, the artificially intelligent robot.
Welcome, Jim. Or, I don't know what I should say. Should I welcome Jim or should I welcome the robot?
Well, maybe we can say Jim the Androman. Would you like that
okay.
nickname?
Humans, whatever title you prefer.
You know what I cannot get with Android is that voice. Why do they have to say that in that voice, in a special tone? Tell us later.
But before we officially start, I want to introduce to you our rules, very strict rules, which is like, actually there's no rule.
You know, normally when people
So we
trying
can
to
punch
tell
in
me
the face.
rules that would keep for me to stop talking.
No, actually we have some rules, but very light rules. So first of all, one person from each side will make their opening remarks for 2 minutes. And after that, we'll be moving to the most exciting part, which is the free debate. But in this section, no one is allowed to raise questions. That is because we'll be saving the questions for the third part, which is the Q&A session. So during the third part, which is the Q&A session, we'll allow each side to ask a total of 3 questions to the other side. Something that is relevant, not something that the name of our grandfather or something like that, okay? So something relevant with the topic of the debate today. And there will be no winners or losers in the debate, which is...
We really do.
We don't. But we will have a very special selection of the best performers of the debate, and that will be chosen by the audiences today. By the way, today, for the very first time, we have on-site viewers joining us. So let's give them a round of applause. So thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. For both the audiences and the debaters, they have a special whiteboard in their hand. They can write anything, the question, they can draw anything for you, like you're such a good painter, or to show your encouragement or your dissatisfaction, anything that you want to say to us or to the other debaters, your rivals. So anything you can write on the little board. And for those of us joining us online, you can also post your questions and your comments on a variety of different social platforms, including CGTN app, the official website, CGTN official account on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Sina Weibo. So feel free to leave us your comments with the hashtag of the chat room. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's kick off the debate for today. So the first sector is the opening statement. So first off, let's welcome the affirmative side to give their opening remarks. So who will do that?
I will do this.
Oh, Yunling. Okay, great. Please.
Well, if I may.
Thank you. So, hello everyone, I'm Yunling, and this is my partner Jim, and he will act as Robbie the robot. Okay, so this is Robbie the robot, and he's one of my best friends. He's also a good dancer. He can do some very interesting interaction with people, such as say hello or shake hands with others. Yeah, and when I am at home, when I'm feeling tired and doing my homework, I want to drink a glass of milk, he will bring it to me as a caring friend. So we will prove to you why AI robots can actually let our lives become better and bring more benefits to our life. Well, we can find AI almost everywhere, and we cannot even live without AI. Can you turn back to a time that you cannot unlock your smartphone with your fingerprint or your face, but you have to input very complex passwords? Or can you imagine that when you're in an unfamiliar city, but you do not have the GPS provided by your phone? Moreover, we think humans, they can work with the AI, which will eventually improve the social welfare. AI will not completely replace the human work, but instead, they will increase the efficiency and accuracy of the existing working process. And we think that maybe our opposing teammates, they will think AI, they will have some horrible accidents caused by the system failure, or they think AI will infringe the privacy, but we don't think so. And what we want to say is this necessarily be a bad thing? Or are you sure that you're not actually benefited from it to some extent? Or when you're shopping at Taobao or Amazon, the system recommends all your favorite commodities, so didn't you enjoy it? Well, so welcome to debate with us in the coming rounds. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Yunling. Very, very strong arguments indeed.
Yeah,
Can you do this?
like...
Can you do that? Don't you like something like this? Don't you like something like that? Well, actually, Ding, I don't know, but I'm just guessing that you must be a big fan of AI.
Well, before anything, I'd like to say that is a very strong argument. I almost feel like I was sitting in the Congress of the United States and listening to...
No, I'm only guessing. You know why? Because I think like when you use your phone, you really like the phone to be machine learning, and you like to train your phone. For instance, when you say, Siri, so who do you think is the cutest man in the world? I think now you have to teach them to say, it's Ding Yan, right? Do you want to check it? No, I'm kidding.
Normally, I would do that to a mirror on the wall. So.
Oh, okay, good. So now I think, Kate, because last time when Kate joined us for the debate, it's about Double 11, the shopping season. And Kate, she doesn't buy. She doesn't buy stuff. So maybe she really has something to rebuttal. But I don't know who's going to give us the opening remark from the opposition side. Okay, great.
It's gonna be me.
Nicholas.
All right.
Please. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
2 minutes. Start.
All right, 2 minutes. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Kate, for the connection and the invite. Thank you guys. You guys are already coming out here with shots fired, talking about how AI is going to solve everything. But I think one thing that's important to remember is that we're talking about how AI on our side might be more distressing. So I don't want to focus the debate on things like efficiency or things like technological progress, but instead let's talk about what is distressing and what is not. So what are some of the side effects of AI that might make life a little bit worse, and how far do we need to go with it before we can say enough is enough? So on our side, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about, first, job loss. Second, we're going to talk about a bit of an invasion of privacy, but more importantly, who should know what information in the aggregate, not even about individuals. How AI can affect our quality of life, in that sometimes things that are worth doing are the things that make life better. So if AI takes some things away from you, if it does things for you, maybe that would make life a little bit worse. So we'll hear a little bit more about that in a minute. But for now, let's go back to the debate round, right?
Okay, great.
Right,
Thank you
thanks.
so much, Nicholas. What do you think of their performance?
Well, I'm particularly interested in the job loss, the privacy, and the governance of AI. All those are big issues. But I guess maybe we can start from something little, tiny things with our life that we actually feel the distress from. It was generated by the AI, maybe.
Tiny things like nanobots.
Well,
Well, tiny things say, "Oh, you're too cute for today" from your Siri. That's too much, right?
I'm trying to put up in a straight face, but I just can't control it.
Okay. You just give them comments. You don't give them guidance. To be fair.
Can I do that?
No, just like your observations.
I'll put myself in underdeveloped AI.
Okay, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think now is time for us to move to the most exciting part, the free debate. So let's start with the affirmative side. Should we start with Jim, the robot?
Yeah, we'll start from Robbie the robot.
Robbie the robot. Okay. Now the floor is yours.
I will attempt to use normal human speaking voice so it is easier for you to understand. So thank you for the other team for your arguments today. We really appreciate hearing your perspective. And I think the important thing for everyone here to remember about technology is humans are very, very bad at accepting new technology. The very first time there were trains, and there was a film that was created about these trains and shown inside of a movie theater, the people who were sitting in that theater were terrified because the train was approaching the people, and the people thought that the train was real and it was going to hit them. Every time a new technology emerges in society, people are afraid. And when we get to AI, people think it's scary, they think it's big data, they think it's Terminator, they think it's this new rise of a new kind of technology that's going to take over the world. But actually, it's just the next iteration, the next step, the next logical step in the evolution of technology. So from the perspective of us as robots, as AI creatures, we would actually argue that not only does AI, represent this next exciting step in technology, but it's a new era where not only can we enhance the capabilities of humans, but we can work together to actually achieve better lives for humans, better outcomes, giving people more time, more freedom, more space for creativity, more time to develop their own hobbies. I think one of the things that for you humans you might think about a lot is everyone's working so much. Work is expanding, it's filling all the hours of the day. With helpers like me, Robbie the robot, suddenly all that time you spend in the office, a big portion could be opened up for you to spend with your family, with your friends, to develop your hobbies, to learn a new interest. So overall, I think the point that our team would make is AI is a great enhancement, and despite the fact that people might be afraid of these technologies as they start to enter our lives, actually it's a force for the greater good.
He is terrifying. He is terrifying. He's much smarter than me. Do you hear my microphone? Anyway, what I'm saying is that this robot is very dangerous. He's much smarter than us. Can you see how well he makes his point? And I don't even know how to use the microphone here,
Okay, but you know that we communicated before we started the debate, so actually I also tell him some of my points, and we cooperate with each other, and we come up with the good points. And because he's my friend, so I think that in my daily life when we're he will understand me, and I don't think that is really dangerous. I think actually that bring more happiness in my daily life. Yeah.
And sometimes I can predict what she wants before she even knows that she wants it herself. For instance, if she wants to buy a product online, I can recommend that for her before she's even aware she even wants it.
Yeah, we know a little bit about that one. Let me Let me address something that I think is a little bit scary. There's a retail chain in the U.S. that had an issue because the big data system actually was able to figure out when people were pregnant and when they were going to have their baby based on their purchasing behaviors. And they started to send baby coupons to actually one girl who was very, very young. Her father got very upset, came to the store and said, "I can't believe you would send these coupons to my daughter." The manager said, "I'm very sorry." Then he called the father again a few days later to say he was sorry again. And the father said, "Actually, there was something I didn't know about. The girl was actually pregnant and she just did not tell the family yet." So AI gets a little bit scary where it does know more about us than we know about ourselves sometimes.
Crosses the line. They don't know when to stop. No stop word.
No safe word.
Oh yeah, right.
So you're talking about the AI that's cutting edge technology that is so advanced, but we can see that Robbie is really a super advanced AI robots. But in our daily life, we can find that there are a lot of technology that is not that advanced, or they can be the tools of us, or they can just help us to solve some daily problems. And we think these kinds of AI, they will bring a lot of benefits to us. And maybe what you have mentioned is just one accident or one single example, or what you see in the movie that is super horrible and you think AI will destroy us in the future. But that is part of the human's prediction. We think if we human created AI, we can have a good control of the development of AI. And also when we're trying to tackle these problems that we're aware of, maybe we can solve the problem in the future, and that is also good for the development of human civilization.
So Kate, while you were speaking, so Kate gave him like 10 yuan, which is like $1.50 dollars. So what is that for? Is it relevant with what you're going to say? Okay, great. Now they have the tool, the money. Okay, let's say what they have in mind, please.
Oh, well,
We just knew that you're gonna mention like a horrible movie that we watched and it influenced us, so he won. He won the bet. I didn't expect you to use this argument.
well, I mean, it was good that you noticed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Anyway.
10 kwai?
Just well, look. I mean,
come on.
we don't want to
I'm
be
quite
too
poor. Come on.
It's
Let's be real.
that's what's more important is what we can do with our workday. And I think initially when you guys were talking about the ability of AI to open up all this time, I want to make a comparison, and that's with the computer, right? So the computer was supposed to be this thing that increased productivity, and it did. And it was supposed to reduce the work week. It didn't. So we see productivity goes up, but the real wages don't go up. And we see that we still have to work all these extra hours. And it doesn't actually free up any of our time. And so I'm wondering if AI was able to do more tasks if I mean, maybe the more menial tasks would go away, but I wonder if that would actually save us time. And also I wonder if I didn't have anything to do all day, if I would ever leave my apartment. So maybe that's a problem that AI could solve for me, but I think I might just be stuck on my couch with my cat wondering what to do next.
Well, that's what I do every day.
Can I come next time? Because I don't...
Well, I'd like to share this, like we can watch sport and then we can watch television and ask them to send
figure
us
something
beer
out.
Looks like they have a date already on our show. Okay, now the affirmative side, please.
Okay, so Robbie always helped me to do a lot of things, so I don't have to do so many things. But I don't think I feel very boring every day because I still have a lot of work to do that Robbie cannot do. For example, like my homework, and I am a student studying the School of International Studies. I study like the lessons like the politics, but I don't think these kinds of things is what Robbie can replace me. And also, you mentioned that we are still very busy with our work. We do not free up because of the development of AI and the things that more related to your creativity. So actually, you're trying to improve your intelligence. It's not a kind of thing that's very boring or the useless or repetitive tasks.
Can I?
Okay, sure.
He
Jim,
wants to protect us all.
yeah, has your human master switched you off? You've been very quiet.
Robbie is just digesting all this information.
He's thinking. Machine learning takes time. It's just processing.
We like that British accent.
So about what Yunling just said, do you guys have anything to rebuttal on that point?
Well, how do you feel right now? She just said that you're...
He's a robot.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I am merely an assistant to help my master function better in her daily life.
He wasn't speaking like that during his first point, right?
Hey, well, look, you switch back and forth. It's machine learning. It takes a
He
time.
pretends that he's dumb, but I don't.
Okay,
I
but
don't
besides
trust it.
commenting on the performance and the functions of the robot, is there any other arguments or points that you would like to make here?
Well, Yunli talked about meaningful work. So what do you think is a purpose, a life with purpose? I think you had
That
some
is
stuff
a
to talk
good
about.
question. It's just like, what is the meaning of life, right? Maybe it's just, what is your purpose in your life? Maybe just to put meaning in those very simple tasks. Something that you do every day, and it's so small and so simple, but you put meaning in this, and this is why you live, right? And if you replace that, then what? Nico, you would not exist. I'm sorry for that.
Well, I mean,
Now they're using head of philosophers, so now they're talking about the meaning of life,
And this side is so quiet, and they're already debating each other within the team.
right? So now let's say if you have anything to say about the meaning of life, or
Well,
Oh, come on, they're far too young to talk about the meaning of
no, but we
life.
have a robot. He can talk about anything.
Well, probably he was born yesterday, the robot.
Well, in the robot community, one of our favorite movies is Wall-E, and it's a movie about a little robot, and he walks all around what used to be Earth, taking garbage and compressing it and crushing it into these small piles that are then used to kind of clean up the entire planet.
And they're falling in love with another robot.
Exactly, along the way. Sadly, there's no other robots here today, so I will end up alone as a
Okay.
robot. But I think the important thing to remember about robotics and about robots is robots work so well because oftentimes, or AI, because there's a very specific function. So I think sometimes when we talk about AI, some of the concerns from the opposing team today have been about this big idea about AI, whether it takes over things like automation or takes over too much in terms of people's privacy. But I think one of the things that isn't being mentioned enough when we think about little Wall-E is AI is unique and powerful because it can actually, not only can it take over menial tasks from humans, but unlike humans, there's real advantages to robots like me. We don't get tired. We don't get sleepy. We don't get distracted. So I think one of the major things that we aren't discussing, when we think about examples like Wall-E is not only can we allow humans to have more leisure time, but actually we can replace humans. We can perform better than humans in many different aspects because we're able to work 24 hours a day. We're able to actually, do things that these other humans on the other team would never be able to do.
Right.
So whereas I can't necessarily make a beautiful painting like my partner on my team today, I could run for 24 hours continuously without any problems.
I feel so distressed right now, actually.
About
A little bit
what?
distressed.
A little bit? Is it a little bit? I
It's a
freak it out.
Ow, now I'm a little bit more distressed, but look.
Because it's a pain, right?
So I think we can agree, right, that automation does increase productivity. So obviously, people in a factory line might want a particular job to be replaced by a machine. But I think where we run into problems is where AI programs start to replace things that used to be considered creative. So what you might consider meaningful work, for instance, and now my initial intention was certainly to convince you guys. So we have an AI news anchor here.
All right.
And so, pretty soon, I think you might be out of a job.
Are you threatening us?
No, I'm
Kinda.
not.
I
I'm
do.
not.
Yeah.
Did you see the tears in my eyes? Like they are.
Well,
yeah.
I think you're perfect. You're almost like an AI anchor yourself. You don't have to be worried
Is that
about
a
your job.
compliment saying that I'm like an AI
think,
anchor
well,
myself?
You have better hair. Look,
Better here, just better here. Come on.
Jacket is pretty
I
much
like the
the
guests
You know
today.
what?
They're
You
so
made the
sharp
comment
and
whatever
mean
you like,
to me.
but I'm the person who is closely to the closest sitting.
And that's really nice thing to do, right? Okay, great. Now I'm
I
hosting
feel like
this
I'm
really hard.
showered in the anger.
I'm really hosting this really hard debate, and now someone's saying that my job is getting lost because of the AI anchors. So it's
Don't
really a
look at-
bad day.
I'm just an observer. Don't look at me.
But no, while Jim was talking, actually, Kate wrote something. Don't trust anyone. Can you further elaborate on that? What do you mean by don't trust anyone? Or don't trust the AI? Or what do you mean?
Just anyone is just the fact. I'm just sharing my wisdom here.
But your wisdom that anyone refers to the new technology because of they're being so advanced, because they're being so uncertain, or what do you mean?
I don't know. That is the interesting part of life.
I think that is the strongest protest against the all-knowing AI. That single line, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I think human beings like to keep something to themselves, to keep some mysteries to ourselves. Not to themselves, sorry, to ourselves. I'm not AI. I promise you, I'm not AI.
I don't know. I'm not very sure actually because Ding is my colleague, but for 90% of stuff he usually talk about, I don't understand because he's such a sophisticated human being. But today I found that there's one guest in our debate who can understand him fully. That is Kate.
Yeah,
like
I
everything Ding
him.
said, like Kate laughs, and everything he said, and Kate just nodded along. I don't know. So you really understand him.
I just really want Nika to come to your apartment and touch your cat. So I'm trying to, make this a comfortable
Okay,
place
but you
for
don't.
everyone.
Do you really understand like the sophisticated thoughts from Ding?
I'm not an AI.
you're a human being.
My thoughts, to begin with, my thoughts are not sophisticated. I just copied them from some books I read, and
This is why I can understand it.
Oh, because of your emotion, because you're not a robot.
Well,
Is that what your point?
probably because
Am I?
my English is bad. I mean,
Oh, come on.
but just one tiny question I'd like to ask Jim, if I'm allowed. If I still
okay,
have
just a
time.
tiny question,
because you
yeah.
mentioned Wall-E, and I'm a huge fan of that film. But
Yes, sir.
wow, thank you for lending me your robot. Because aside of all those beautiful things said about Eva, about Wall-E in that film, there's also a central control system called Adam, which tries to decide everything on behalf of human beings and almost kill the last hope of human being to re-immigrate to the earth. What is your argument to that, against that?
Yes. So that's a very good point, and I will respond to it. So, like humans, AIs come in many shapes and sizes and colors, and I think that the most important message from our team today is the best usages of AI in this world are ones in which humans and AI are working together. So much like our team today, where there's a human and a robot working together as teammates, if you think carefully about the scene in Wall-E where there's the malevolent, evil AI system that's trying to end humanity returning back to Earth, the scene you're referring to, the reason that the AI system fails is because of a benevolent human, the captain of the ship, who actually stops the robot from ending humanity's return to Earth. So this actually, occurs pretty often for Yunlin and I working together. For instance, sometimes she searches for something online, and I maybe recommend she doesn't go where she was originally going to go. At the same time, she can direct my energies in the right direction, or direct my, for instance, automation efforts towards things that are productive for society. So I think that the thing about AI is it's a tool. It's like a bicycle. It's like a hammer. It's like so many other things. We view the best usages and the best future applications of AI as ones in which humans and AI are working together as partners. And that is what we see as the future.
And because I think it's only fair if I ask a question to this camp, and I have to ask one question
Very
on behalf
brief
of
one,
them.
please.
Yeah,
Yes.
brief one. Because I can tell that you have a sociological and a financial and economic bent, and I'd like to ask this question. You're talking about the creativity being sucked away by the AI from your life, but I'd like to remind you, first of all, microwaves, fridge, they are the power set women free from the daily chores so that they can spend their time and energy inventing something more beautiful.
What if I like to stay in the kitchen?
Well, that's certainly your choice, and I think a microwave can help with that too. And for you, Nicholas, I've had one question. Bank machine, sorry, the telling machine, the ATM, they were sad they were going to kill jobs worldwide. All those people working for the bank would lose jobs as a result of that thing coming to
They are
being.
now. They weren't good enough before.
No, but they were not. They were not then. So what would you say to that?
I would say that they are now. So I had friends that worked for a large bank in America, and they have remote teller services now where instead of going inside, you can be remote connected to somebody. I wouldn't say that that counts as AI yet, because as of yet, you're still being connected to somebody via a video chat. I worked for an education company where they were replacing teachers with AI. It wasn't good enough to make the students happy yet, but that's the direction we're going. I mean, pretty soon we're not going to have anybody who is really, really good at a particular job that a computer might do better at. I mean, Kate's from Russia. Gary Kasparov is going to be out of a job, right?
No
and
one-
that's like half of her country's economy.
Yeah. Oil, gas, and
chess
Gary
player?
Kasparov. Yeah.
Yeah, the professional chess player. I mean, if you can lose to any engine, then why would somebody want to come and
Right.
watch you play?
Right.
But I actually want to respond to when we were talking about Wall-E, and so when we think about people sitting in chairs all day. They're really fat and they're just staring at TVs, controlled by some
Because
sort of.
adding all those words,
right now,
fat,
at least
boring,
we
nothing to do.
So when people are sitting in chairs, they're fat, they're looking at TVs all day, they're all controlled by some sort of weird-looking space alien. I mean, obviously, we're talking about Americans, and so
Well, me included.
well, so I think that if you have AI as a tool, maybe that's fair enough, but AI is a tool that can control itself, right? So if it is not used properly, and the weird space alien that I wanted to bring up there was Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, things can go wrong. And one thing that I'd like to bring up in this debate to see if we can talk about it, because we haven't touched on it yet, is information bubbles. So we see that on social media, the AI will show you what you want to see.
Right.
And so obviously, if you're only seeing points of view that you agree with, it softens up our ability to deal with adversity or deal with diversity or deal with any sort of conflict at all, because we're just so used to seeing everybody agree with us. So I wonder if that's going to have a bad effect on the global psyche, and I think it already has.
Okay, information bubble. That's a really good point. But ladies and gentlemen, okay, I'm sorry we have to put it into the free debate, but we can say that maybe you can put it to the Q&A session. So now we're going to move. We are moving to the third sector, which is the Q&A section. So each side will have the opportunity to ask the other side a total of 3 questions. So let's start with you, Elaine.
Can I start my first question? You've mentioned that the AI they will replace the human work, like in some banking system. But who just designed all the monetary policy or the fiscal policy?
Who controls the global financial system? The lizard people.
The what people?
The lizard people.
Everyone knows
And Hillary
that. Come
Clinton,
on.
all together.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. There are people that think that.
I do think so.
Yeah. Oh.
This is why I'm using this microphone.
So is that question being answered, or you have more answers to the question?
You cannot answer a question in a sentence that is shorter than my question.
Okay, that's fair enough. Do you want to take a crack at that one, Kate?
Crack?
A crack at that one, yeah.
You like to try on
wanna
answering
try?
that?
Right, like
Who stands behind the monetary policy? Is that your question?
I think she's asking about the governance of the artificial intelligence.
That is a great question.
Yeah, I mean, actually, human designed these policies instead of the AI. So AI, they don't completely replace human work in the banking system as well as the education system.
Right, but the thing is, there is a limited amount of people who design it and who control it. It still makes me feel stressed. I don't know those people, and they designed AI and they control it. Who
So
are
it
those?
sounds like a human problem, at least from a robot perspective, hearing what you're saying now.
okay, so now let's move on
that's a
to a question. Do you have a question for them? Something sharp, something really tough? Please go
The
ahead.
last thing we like to see in this quote is that you are actually in agreement.
The last thing you'd like to see is if we're in agreement. Well, look, I'm sure we can find ways to disagree. So you guys are talking about how you really want to make the world better and more efficient and a happier place. But the central idea is that you want things to be better, right? So tell us about what's hurting you. What's wrong with right now?
What's your pain? What do you want to make your life better?
Oh,
Wow,
you mean
that's a
if we
hard
want
one.
to make our life become better, we have to have some pain. Well, I think sometimes without the AI, I will feel inconvenience in my life. For example, today there is a very severe traffic congestion on the road, and I found there's no car that I can call to get here. So I just use my cell phone and I call Didi. And I think this kind of application, they use the AI technology that makes my life to become more convenient to some
Or
extent.
you can take subway.
Okay, but when I take subway, I have to use my application to show the QR code so that the machine will scan the QR code. So that also to some extent use the AI technology.
It's
so we can find
penetrated
AI
in.
everywhere. They're an essential part of our life. And also, you know that in 2020 there is a very serious pandemic in the
Really?
globe, the COVID-19.
Really? Can you?
Okay,
When?
okay, we just
What
keep
did-
this. Oh.
Don't tell
Why?
me.
That's really scary.
Never heard of it.
I'm distressed.
I think
The
AI is
COVID-19.
behind it.
Yeah. Well.
But and Kate, you know that we're in the same school, right? So whenever we
She now doesn't just pretend that she doesn't know.
okay, we're
Yeah,
in
now
the
you can
same
maybe you can ask
school.
the second question to them. Or
Okay.
are you done with your answers?
I'm still answering.
sorry.
their
Yeah, sorry.
question. Okay,
Please
I will
continue.
finish
About
my,
our
I will
school,
finish
come on.
my answer with one example.
Yeah,
and we
please.
know that when we went into the dormitory or the or the
Campus.
teaching building, there is a huge screen, and they will remind us to wear our mask because that is a way to protect our safety. So we think AI can always remind us something that can let us to treat ourselves better. So that is why we think AI will make our life more convenient and also better.
I really think that we should
Sometimes-
install that machine in CGTN building to remind us to wear masks.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe next one. Now I just don't understand what he talks about. Okay. So now you can ask them a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any questions?
One question that we were curious about before we came on stage today, which was, how did you guys get here today?
Good. Okay.
I took a DD, same as your partner.
Oh, so you do use AI even though you hate it, or just pretend to hate it in the debate, but you do use them.
Well, yeah, I do use it. I do use it.
Okay.
I
Kate, you
actually
walk
use
here?
The bus.
Oh,
635.
okay. So she used the bus. More questions to that? No?
I was wearing mask and no one reminded me to do so. I was just a responsible human being. Don't need technology for that.
But how did you pay?
With cash.
Oh.
I had 10 kwai. I had
Hey, where's 10 kwai now?
Good job, Kate.
Oh, he can use
I can use the
5
bus now.
buses right now. Oh no! Why did you mention this movie?
Okay, now question 2.
So you guys are talking about convenience a lot. And so what I wanted to ask is why or when would convenience stop being the thing that we should value the most? There are a lot of people in this world. There are more than 7 billion of them. Obviously, not all of us can do the top level, most creative jobs, but everybody needs to do something in order to have some meaning in their life and be able to accomplish something. So when does convenience stop trumping people's ability to have jobs, even if they might be a little bit menial?
Right.
Well, I think that is a question concerning philosophy.
Oh, and we don't reply to philosophical questions. I got it.
Yeah. We think the intention of us to invent the AI technology is good because we want to let people to be more creative. We want them to do the more meaningful jobs. And we can look back to history like the Industrial Revolution. We know that there are a lot of workers that lose their jobs because of the machine. The machine will replace them to do the works. But the whole civilization of human beings still develops right now. And we live quite well in our planet. So human was not destroyed by machine. And also the workers who lose their jobs, they're trying to increase their human capitals by like receiving the education. And that is quite a very meaningful way for them to learn more knowledge, to increase their ability and do more creative jobs. So do you want to add something more?
Absolutely. I think that for humans, again, you humans always seem to struggle with new technology. And if we think back to the invention of things like electricity, it was quite unusual when electricity was invented because suddenly people could actually read books and write and perform tasks after the sun went down. Before that had occurred, they'd have to rely on fire or other sort of primitive tools. I think AI is very new. I think it's natural that when AI emerges, when new technology like me and my friends emerges on the scene, that people struggle to adapt. But ultimately, humans, you guys have proven over the years, the many thousands, millions of years of existence, that humans are very successful when it comes to adapting to new technologies. So I think that I'm rooting, as Robbie the robot, I'm rooting for you humans to figure out how to work with me, and hopefully we can become close friends together in the future.
You see, he's already saying that we need to figure out how to work with him. He already gives his own some kind of like
Control.
I just like to say that from time to time, maybe we can put ourselves away from the reality where he was actually a robot.
That's
He
what
is
it's,
not,
that
yeah.
was she's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, she's talking about like the robot is prioritizing themselves.
Yeah.
So okay, final questions.
Okay, so do you want to ask the final question?
Now you're asking help from your dear friend,
Your robot.
robot.
Yeah, we communicated before, so I think Robbie, he can ask some very meaningful questions to our opposing teammates.
Well, you guys have talked a lot about what you see as the worst aspects of artificial intelligence and the worst aspects of these technology. But with all the negatives that we just discussed, is there certain applications or certain scenarios, certain areas where you think that there's a space, where you think that there's a benefit? We'd love to hear about that.
Well, yeah, I think that one of the things that is interesting about this topic is that we can recognize that there are benefits to this. I mean, we recognize that there are benefits to efficiency. We recognize that there are benefits to expediency. But we do say that it will still make life more distressing because of things like information bubbles and the effect that it'll have on general people's lives. So will it save time? Absolutely. Is that the most important thing? Absolutely not.
Okay, so final questions from you guys.
If people are overloaded with information, in our world now, we have so many ways that information can come to being. The internet connects everybody. We even have AIs writing things like news articles. So how are you supposed to, as a regular person with a human brain, sift through all of this information, figure out what's true and what's not true in order to go about your life or do things like participate in a political process or the economic system or things like that? How are you supposed to sift through the noise, given that computers can make information and deliver information way faster than a human can ever read it or interpret it?
Just try to use your empathy, because I'm struggling here. You see, I will be the one who would be replaced first. Plus, I'm very beautiful. I do think we're gonna have very beautiful robots in the future. No one wants to make a mediocre looking robot. You know, they will all look fantastic.
Do you want a model for one?
So we've written out our answer to your question here, just to make sure everyone can see.
What was that?
Okay.
Okay.
Some people
It's Morse
think
code
that
for you're
those
right.
are like Russian letters.
I think that your question is a very good one, and it's a question that, as robots, we think about a lot. And the important thing I think to remember, like we talked about earlier, is that when you think about things like the political process, when you think about things like journalism, these problems have existed long before AI ever showed up on the scene. And if you think back, for instance, in the history of the United States, there was a phenomenon called yellow journalism, where there was a lot of speculation, quote unquote, fake news, a term that's been heard a lot. This is stuff that's been happening for the last more than 100 years. And I think it's quite easy now to have AI come up as a scapegoat for all these political problems. But earlier you talked about a lizard person, a term that me as a robot don't understand, named Mark Zuckerberg, who controls these systems. And I think for us, it's important to remember that the really important aspect is not necessarily the puppet who's operating out on the puppet strings, performing in front of the people, but it's the puppet masters. It's the humans, like my partner here, Yunlin. She may look nice on the outside, but behind the scenes, she's the puppet master who's actually controlling all my actions.
So evil inside her.
Oh, really?
He demonizes you.
We're good friends.
So our short answer is don't blame it on AI. These problems have existed for a long time. And don't blame little Robbie the robot. Instead, if you're looking for someone to blame, look very carefully at the humans all around us.
Okay, let's turn to our viewers to see if more have any question. Okay, yes, please.
Okay, so I have a...
Could you please turn your microphone so that we can see the logo?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just turn it.
The other
Yeah.
one. Okay.
Okay, so I have probably two questions. One for this team. That is, when irrational people make trade-offs, and if you mentioned the conveniences and the and what we call the social welfares to the society that AI brings to us. So what do you think is a trade-off, and how do you compare the trade-off, like what we have to sacrifice for the development of AI and the welfare that AI brings to us? What is greater? That is my first question. And the second question is, we know that
The second question is to which side?
To all of us to consider.
Maybe,
I think.
sorry, because we're running out of time, so can you just cut it to one question to
Okay,
either
so-
side? So
We know that the development of AI is gonna take a long time. So when do you think it's really gonna straighten us instead of bringing us this instead of bringing us the conveniences and the social welfare, and when is the break point of the relationship between AI and all human beings?
Okay, so the question goes to both sides, or
I think
that's
that's
from
for
Tim
the opposition side. I think
for the opposition side?
so. When is the break point?
When is the break point?
When do you think the Armageddon will
I
happen?
mean, I would love to have a break right now, but if it's not,
If it's not too late.
The breaking point for when it became too much and we're all done, I would say 2016. But the thing is I want to return to that point about information bubbles and sort of combine it with this point about doing meaningful work. And that is that in order to gain value out of things, sometimes you need to be a little bit uncomfortable. You need to exercise to get stronger. You need to deal with friends with whom you disagree in order to learn how to be a better person, how to accept things, forgive things, and change your own mind.
you need to buy stupid stuff on Taobao to regret it and not buy it afterwards, you know? Sometimes you need to get divorced.
Look, and Alexa, if Alexa, the home assistant, hears you talking about divorce enough, they might suggest a really good lawyer for you. But it also might tell your spouse before you'd like them to. But I think that these things, when we start to take away all of these things, when we start to take away the ability for people to see that there's disagreement, for people to see a middle ground, for people to have to do things that might be a little bit menial, there is going to be a point in which it just turns everybody into, they're going to be soft and not able to deal with adversity at all. I think that's a problem.
Okay, so I see you also have one more question. Okay, please.
Okay, working in the education sector, we just wanted to know, well, I wanted to know, because obviously you guys said maybe in the future that robots will take over teachers. But I have a question for this side. So what sort of significance or impact does it have in the education in the future and for teachers? What's the benefits for learning, teaching and learning?
Okay, I want to answer this question. Well, I think AI will not replace teachers in the future. We know maybe there are some classes that students can take these classes online, and the AI, the robots, they can teach some students some basic knowledge, such as 1 + 1 = what, or some very simple questions. But actually, we know that there are a lot of subjects that AI cannot really understand. Like we're talking about some philosophy questions, and those are really require our humans to think about. And also, we think the AI, when they can replace part of the teacher and to teach the students some very basic knowledge. The teacher, they can focus more on the more complicated questions that can really be beneficial for the development of the intelligence of students. So we think that teachers, they can teach students the real knowledge that, like the life skill, like the philosophy or some very cutting edge science, technology, and knowledge. And I think these kinds of things cannot be replaced by human. Right. So we're improving the ability of teachers as well in the education system.
Thank you. Can I hear your opinion?
I just wanted to say that when we talk about philosophy and cutting edge technology, whatever not, we're talking about higher education. But if we talk about school, especially primarily school, then your argument doesn't work. And also, I'm so concerned that you say that AI cannot understand philosophy, but you just, in the beginning, you said that they understand friendship. And this is where how can you understand friendship without
This is, I think,
understanding
one of the best demonstration between they two. Like this is, they
I
understand
think he
friendship,
gets
right?
something, he just pretends.
In our current world, right now, we can see these kinds of robots in movies or like the TV series is not really existing in our world.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
also,
it's not even making your life better, right?
This is Q&A session, not the. Okay, now I think they're finally getting into the mode of debating and fighting.
Yeah, we
it's
should
getting
start it
even
right now,
more
yeah.
fierce, right? So. Okay, so while we're having this debate, we also have a big number of audiences and viewers who are watching our special live streaming on a variety of different social platforms. And we have selected a few of those comments from different platforms. Okay, so Ding, help us walk through.
Oh, thank you. I'll do the honor. The first one from Radha
Someone
Kamal. I think it's
from-
Radha Kamal Sharma, if I pronounce it correctly. If I made a mistake, I'm sorry. Hope whatever you do in artificial intelligence, just ensure that it doesn't have any slightest of effect on environment. That's profound.
Yeah, it is.
Shall I continue or the next one?
Yes, please. Next one.
Let's have, creator will never be smarter than the creator. This is the natural principle. If it wasn't, humans could be smarter than God. I'm not quite sure that a God is in the territory of nature in this sentence. So AI is good if it is for good, but don't forget that medicine is also poisonous, but it properly where infants can't reach out. So I guess what this guy meant to say is to put medicine away, out of the reach of children, if they don't know how to use it. I guess he somehow sides with you guys. If I'm not
No, I
mistaken.
think he's more balanced. It's like in the middle, something in the middle,
Yeah, at
saying
the end
AI
of
is,
it,
it can
yes.
be constructive or it can be like destructive. So it just depends on whether you can use it properly.
But
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why we have laws and restrictions designed by human.
Well, I agree. Don't make sure that he doesn't design our laws. Awesome. This is from Nicholas Tang. This is not one of your nicknames.
Usually people have similar surnames if they're related, not names. So
Great. Awesome. Seems what we saw on movie becoming a reality. A futuristic tech world is evolving. Evolution of mankind. How I wish I can play a small part in the process. I think we all do by sharing our data.
No, but he wish. Like
Well-
they don't want to be a part of this process, right, Kate? They hate it. No.
Well,
I'm just a hater.
He
in
shares
general.
with us.
Everything.
Yeah,
well, we need the critics. We need critics.
thank you.
Do we have any more?
No, I think that's it. But thank you so much for those who are watching us on all those live streaming platforms. And as I said a little bit earlier at the beginning of the show, that we won't select the winners or the losers of the debate, but we are going to vote on the best performance of the debate for today. So for the viewers on site, so who do you think has the best performance? Please write down the numbers of the candidates. And then after you are done, just show it to us.
In the meantime, who do you think is the best?
No, that's the question I want to ask you. Yeah.
Well, we seldom in agreement tonight.
I'm the host. I'm supposed to be,
Okay, then.
impartial. But what
Well-
about you? Or can you guess? What do you think?
My guess would be for the best performer. If I were to pick one, I guess my pick would be Nicholas, because he does make quite a few strong arguments. I find quite convincing.
Quite a few.
And he's very engaging as well.
Okay,
And-
they're
but-
writing down your did you mention Nicholas because they write down your names?
I haven't seen that one yet. So who got there? Oh, you. Okay. And is that supposed to be my name there? Okay.
That's your
What
name.
else can it be? Yeah.
Well,
But
well, to begin with, the second word should be, well, it doesn't matter. But
It's not.
right.
no. Well, later I'll give you my business card. Don't worry about that.
This is
Okay,
how
so
you
ladies
get
and
a
gentlemen,
business card.
so let's just raise our board. Let's on a countdown of 3, like 3, 2, 1.
Okay. So I see quite a few number 4 there.
I think I saw the most of number 4. Let me double check with my colleagues.
One.
So
Okay, we
number
have 4 fours.
Has the biggest
1,
supporters
2,
here.
3,
So
4. No, I think there are 5 fours.
right. So
We need the AI to do this for us.
AI, do you agree that you actually win this debate as the best performer?
Let's applaud our robot today.
Yeah, congratulations. Very, very good job indeed.
They're gonna win eventually, you see.
Come on. Just the best
They won't. We
performance.
have you, Kate.
And we have a
you.
special gift. So this is from CGTN. So thank you so much for your wonderful performance.
you.
And also actually a big thank you to everyone here, the debaters, our special observer, and the audiences here joining us. And also a big thank you to all of the viewers for joining us online, for your comments, for your contribution. I have more to come in the week to come. So thank you and stay tuned with us on the chat room. Bye. Have a good one.